I'm James Rothwell, the Daily Telegraph's Brexit correspondent, and this is Brexit in the Borderlands.
We are the collateral damage here in Donegal of a fantasy.
Quite simply, we do not trust the British government.
Let them leave and let us stay. We're happy the way we are.
I'm here on the border between Northern Ireland, which is over there, and the Republic of Ireland, which is over there. And I'm trying to find out what's going to happen to this invisible border in a no-deal Brexit scenario. I'll be speaking to business leaders, local politicians and people in the community to find out what they think about the Irish backstop, which is the proposed solution to the border conundrum. So I'm on my way to see Daniel Macross, who is an MLA for the moderate nationalist SDLP party. An MLA is a representative of the Northern Irish Assembly, also known as Stormont, which unfortunately has collapsed due to a disagreement over power sharing. I'm going to talk to Daniel about reports that the old customs post has been resurfaced by the government. And has been fenced off as well, suggesting that they might have some plans for it, which has got everyone a little bit worried. So let's head down there now and see what Daniel has got to say.
The backstop is, from our perspective, not only as an Irishman, but certainly from a Northern Irish perspective, it's the ultimate insurance policy that protects our every way of life to ensure that we can continue as we were prior to this chaos that has been inflicted upon the people of this island and indeed the UK.
Angela Merkel gave a press conference yesterday where she floated the idea in quite a speculative way of trying to get a solution to the backstop in just 30 days. What were your thoughts when you saw that press conference?
I think she made a bit of a boo-boo yesterday, or Wednesday, yesterday, in that I think she had said this not realising the rippling consequences of it. Not all that long ago, certainly in our lifetimes, the word border means something very different here than it does anywhere else. It's something that is scarred onto the memories of people. It reminds them of division and hatred, sectarianism. It reminds them of British troops on the border, in their communities, on their streets. And it reminds them of how difficult life was here and the destruction of our communities, the division within our communities, and ultimately the huge number of fatalities.
So we've just spoken to Daniel Macross. What interested me the most was what he said about Angela Merkel. Now, Angela Merkel earlier this week gave a press conference where she implied that the backstop could be solved in 30 days, and a lot of Brexiteers are really excited about that. But the Irish are not so happy because they think that Angela Merkel is basically giving false hope to the Brexiteers and encouraging them to go on a wild goose chase to find something, namely a backstop alternative, that Northern Irish and Irish politicians just don't believe exists. So what we have starting to emerge here, interestingly, because this is quite rare, is a bit of a rift between Germany and Ireland. So who knows where that could go. So now we're going to speak to Kieran Kennedy, who runs O'Neill Sportswear. He's one of the biggest employers in the local area.
Out of the 700 employed here in Strabane, approximately 50% of them live in the Republic of Ireland. Mm-hmm. So the border is only about 1.5 miles from here. So they cross, quite freely on a daily basis to go to and from work. Any issues with Brexit or delays on the border would cause us severe problems, especially if there's tariffs or duties, which could add up to almost 10% onto our cost price, which would really make us uncompetitive. Anybody coming then to invest in Northern Ireland, a country or province that will have very limited sales scope, throughout the world, because we're going to lose, the whole of the European market. Yep. And most of the businesses in the north are depending on sales to Europe, whether that be the Republic of Ireland or the rest of Europe. Yeah. So, long term, I think it would be an absolute disaster for Northern Ireland if there was a no-deal Brexit and a hard border.
So I'm now on my way to go and see George, who is part of a campaign group called Border Communities Against Brexit. And Border Communities Against Brexit is basically a group of people that don't want to see a hard border, and they've been putting signs up all over the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland saying that they want to avoid Brexit at all costs. Unfortunately, Brexit is coming, and it looks like a hard border is coming as well. So what I'm going to try and find out now is how they're going to cope with that. What impact is that going to have on their businesses? Is there going to be some kind of psychological effect of having to live with the border again? And get them to talk to me a little bit about what they remember from the bad old days when there were customs posts and British Army checkpoints.
They don't understand the effect that it's going to have on the peace process or on daily life here, commercial life with the transport and the movement of goods over and back what is now an invisible border. There will be more opportunities for smuggling, and whether they actually go and pull down a customs post, well, that's possible. I would worry about something like that. I would worry about ordinary people doing a job, putting their lives in danger, which possibly a customs man or an excise man or revenue man might have to do in the future. And anything that makes that more possible is surely not a good thing.
I'm just approaching the border, not that you would even notice, and now I'm in the Republic of Ireland. I've changed countries, just like that. I'm on my way to see Gary Daugherty, who is a local councillor for Sinn Féin, which is the Irish political party that supports the reunification of Ireland, so Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland all becoming the same country. He is, I think, in support of the backstop, like, to be fair, most political parties here on the island of Ireland, mainly because it offers some security and stability to businesses. So Gary, we're stood outside what used to be a customs post back in the bad old days when there were checks and things. At the moment it doesn't look like very much now, but there's been some activity here, you said, over the past year or so.
Yeah, over the last few months, the OPW, which is the government agency which controls this area and controls public buildings in Ireland, they took away the old prefabs that were here, and they'd been here for quite a long number of years, and it's raised a lot of suspicion among people in the local area that well, it was around the time that the first Brexit deadline that the OPW would then decide to take away these prefabs. And we were obviously very concerned that was a sign that we were going to see the reintroduction of a customs post here at the Lifford-Strabane border.
Has Brexit done permanent damage to the relationship between the UK and Ireland, do you think?
I hope not. We're such close neighbours that we need to have a healthy relationship. But I think it's a wait and see, because I think Brexit certainly has the potential to cause great damage to that relationship, which I don't think anybody wants to see happening.
So it's become pretty clear over the last few days that there's a lot of frustration in Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland with Westminster over here. Some people have even said they feel that the Irish peace process is not being taken seriously by pro-Brexit politicians. Now, it's worth pointing out that the polls suggest a majority of people in Northern Ireland would support a backstop. The big exception to that, however, is the DUP. We did try to speak to a representative for the DUP in Derry and Strabane, but they were unavailable. The DUP has said several times in the past that it opposes the backstop because it would effectively cut Northern Ireland away from the rest of the UK by making it follow EU rules and regulations. Many Tory MPs here in Westminster feel the same, and that suggests there's not going to be a deal in October. And if there's no deal, there's no backstop. And if there's no backstop, then that means a hard border for the people in Ireland.